Captain on the bridge.
All right, captains, back here on the bridge tonight, and tonight we are still actually on the Steam Runner. This time, what we wanted to do was sort of a first contact theme. Looking at some of the alpha, beta sites there in terms of the armaments for the Steam Runner, they had mentioned it had just literally phasers and photons. So we wanted to take that and sort of refit the ship. And we'll go through that when we're going over the build, which will go over the weapons, space set, consoles, traits, stations, DOFs, and then we'll take it into Argala how it does. So again, this ship is based on First Contact, where I first saw the ship. One of my favorite battle scenes in Star Trek, period. And since we were on the ship last night doing a budget views, I thought it'd be fun to just kind of get this theme out of the way, this theme builds out of the way, since again we're on it. So we're still using the Appalachia Blockade Runner Escort, aka T6 Steam Runner. So we'll go over what we put on this. So for the 4 weapons, one of my favorite weapons in game is the Gravimetric Photon Torpedo Launcher, which is from your Dyson rep. Your Prolonged Engaged Photon Torpedo, which was a reward, and you can actually even get it in the Phoenix store. PSA, as of this recording today, the Phoenix event will come back tomorrow, December 22nd. And this also acts like as a wide angle torp, so that's always the benefit of that. And then we're using 2 Fleet Photon Torpedoes, the Advanced Fleet Photon Torpedo Launcher, reroll to crit DM damage 4. For space sets, Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector from your fleet colony. Your Prevailing Innovative Impulse Engines from your competitive rep. Your Mycela Harmonic Matter Antimatter Core. Tilly's Review Pending Modified Shield, both of these from the Discovery rep. Aft weaponry, so here comes the refit portion / head cannon part of it. So we still have a Photon Torpedo in the aft, but this photon is the Photon Torpedo Launcher crit DM damage 3 with the spread mod. So it has an automatic spread there, given under certain conditions. There's a chance to do a spread, so we'll just leave it there, because captains, you've already seen me in my videos, I fly around like a headless chicken. We use the head cannon to put some mine launchers in the aft here, so we put the Modulating Competition Mine Launcher from your competitive rep, and the Thoron Infused Quantum Mine Launcher. This is from your Delta Rep Dill store. Experimental weapon, we're still going to be using what came with it, which is the Experimental Hull Spike Battery. Devices, we have our Torp Candy. Captains, you know I love my Torp Candy. Plus 30% bonus projectile damage for 20 seconds. Our Kobayashi Maru Transponder for all the buffs it gives. And Temporal Negotiator to help with our cooldowns. For our consoles, we have the Lorcator, or the Lorca's Custom Fire Control, which comes from your Discovery rep. Again, a little bit of head cannon and also some history here. So in Armada 2, fellow Captain Stargate had confirmed that there was a Tri-Cobalt launcher photon weapon there, which they've integrated here to stow. So we're going to use this. Again, this is kind of the First Contact upgraded / refitted. And it has a lot of goodies with it in terms of damage to help boost the performance of this. So it has plus 90% mine and torpedo damage. Plus the launcher itself, so pretty. And it's 100% always looking good while you're doing your space views. The Ordnance Accelerator, which is from your Gamma rep. Your Ferrofluid Hydraulic Assembly, which is from your Terran rep. Your Point Defense Bombardment Warhead, this comes from the NX refit, but it gives us 25% projectile damage. We're going to be using the Dynamic Power Redistributor this time. This comes from the Atlas. Of course, the 2-piece does give directed weapon energy damage, but we're using this for the damage buffs it gives, and damage resistance rating as well. And then as the refit, you can use the opening salvo, which comes from the Titan, which is one of my favorite ships, and this is also one of my favorite consoles. We're going to use the Emulating Phaser Lance, which comes from the Deimos Pilot Destroyer. This is going to help us with cooling down our universal consoles via the universal design trait, which we'll go over. And then 4 vulnerability locator torpedo plus 2% crit chance plus 34.5 torpedo weapon damage. This comes from your fleet Spire. This is not necessarily, no, let me correct myself. This is not a budget build. Again, some of these things are from higher to get ships. But the point of this is to look the part while boosting its performance underneath the hood. So I'll go over the traits here. We got Hot Pursuit for the mines that we're using, Superior Projectile Training, Kinetic Precision, Inspirational Leader, Intelligence Agent Attaché, Into the Breach, Resonating Payload Modification, the Boimler Effect, Unconventional Systems, and a Good Day to Die. For our Starship traits, we're using the trait that actually came with the ship, which is Piercing Projectiles, which gives us, for 15 seconds, plus 200 shield pen and hull pen. Assault Formation Theta for the back-to-back high yield, and we'll go over that in stations, because this grants you a high yield 3 upon the use of Attack Pattern Omega. Ceaseless Momentum, Subspatial Warheads, Universal Designs, like we had mentioned earlier, for our traits to help cool down our Universal consoles faster by using Emulating Phaser Lance. Plus, it also gives us plus 2% crit chance and plus 10% crit severity. And it stacks up to 5 times. And then Entwined Tectal Matrices for the back-to-back torp spreads when you're going back and forth between Fire at Will and Cannon Scatter Volley. Space Reputation, Advanced Targeting Systems, Omega Kinetic Shearing, Precision, Torpedo Prefire Sequence, Tyler's Duality. Again, nothing different here from really what we were using last night or from our last build. For our active space reputation, you have the Anti-Time Entanglement Singularity, Biomolecular Shield Generator, Deploy Sensor Interference Platform, your Refracting Tetron Cascade, and Quantum Singularity Manipulation. So we'll go over the stations now. Left to right, top to bottom, we have jam targeting sensors, scramble sensors, beam fire at will, cannon scatter volley. These are the two that are going to help us have our back-to-back torp spreads. Again, attack pattern Omega, and we use the assault formation Theta trait with this so that when we use high yield and Omega, we have 2 back-to-back high yields here, one being 3 and one being 2. Then of course here we have the dispersal pattern beta 3 for the mines. This is going to spit out a lot of mines, so we want to upgrade the mine damage as much as we can with only having 2 and using Hot Pursuit so that we can double the chase range of them. Chemocytes, there's a high yield 2, which is one of my favorite visuals really, because normally you see on screen with Star Trek ships they fire torpedoes usually in groups of 3, and that's what high yield 2 does. High yield 3 is like 4. Concentrate firepower, emergency powered engines, emit unstable warp bubble, inject warp plasma, and tractor beam. So this build has 5 uncon procs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and big shout out to the captains who told me this and helped me with this type of builds. Spencer, shout out to you, sir. So there's the stations there, and then we're gonna go with our doofs. So we have our Mercy Condor here, recharges evasive maneuvers when we hit Mercy powered engines. This ship is already nimble, but this ship gets really nimble and can get from A to B really quick. And then we have 3 projectile weapon officers, 2 of them which give us crit severity when we fire projectiles, 1 that gives us a chance to reduce the time to recharge mines. We got Delrine here, which gives us damage increase versus the Borg. And then we are going to be using Brad Boimler because he gives us toxic clouds from torpedoes, because why not? So there's the build. What we're going to do is take this build into Argala Elite and see how it does. Shout out to my captains here that are formed up here with me. We got Anthony Taylor, Necron, William Knight, and Nori. Then when we come back from our Elite Argala, me and these captains, we're going to go pew-pews because that's what we do every night here on Twitch. But let's head on to the Elite Argala here and blow up some pixels. See how this theme build does. For some reason, Argala, even Cryptic uses it as a measuring stick to test out new ships and stuff, so we'll do the same. We will do the same. Okay, here we go. Let's launch our mines. It's a lot of mines. See, we can use a tractor beam to hold him in place and then spit torpedoes on his face. Bye. Next, there's our phaser damage, but using more of our torpedoes as our main damage dealer. And there's the first group. Cooldowns feel good. We're going to use our buffs here, the next group, because we need to get deputized first. There we go.
Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over now.
Opening salvo, tri-cobalt launcher, have some torp spreads and some mines. That's utter destruction. Let's use some torp candy.
Keep concentrating. We will not go quietly.
Do have to be careful with the gravimetric torpedo though, because you can actually blow yourself up if you're too close under when that is under high yields. And I swear I have not blown myself up using my gravimetric torpedo. What? Here, have some tri-cobalt. Whew, that visual. So good.
You will stand down and surrender to
There's
the
that group.
Sensors are picking up small habitations in some of the asteroids. Possibly
Opening salvos up, so let's use it.
temporary
Get the
hideout.
shields down. We have 10 seconds. We'll take advantage of it. Bye.
We do what we want, where we want.
It's a very maneuverable ship too. Very maneuverable. Get some aft torpedoes firing too as well. Oh, gravimetric.
Picked up a tight beam transmission on a new frequency. We're jamming that spectrum of their comms now, but it was probably a call for assistance.
Bye-bye.
I'm taking
Last
you
group.
with me.
Opening salvo coming up. Oh, torpedo destruction, so beautiful. What? that out. Gotta be careful too, that gravimetric torpedo does track targets, and if you fly in front of it, you can kiss your hull goodbye.
Excellent work. We'll send
There we
over
go.
a pacification party to take the suspect into custody.
That's how she did. Alright, let's warp out of here actually. See if we
Thank
can
you
warp
for your
back here to
assistance,
with our fellow
Kazan.
captains
We have the suspect.
in the Sol system, but we'll give our final thoughts on this. This ship is really fun. I highly, highly recommend if you get the chance to get the ship, do so. It is a very, very good torpedo platform. And look at that, we just warped in right there for a Shelfie, which is a ship selfie. So there's the build, there's how she did. When it comes to these theme builds, captains, you can do whatever you want. Okay, I've always said I'm not the best ship builder, but I like to try different things. I like to try any idea that comes in my head and see what I can make work and see what works, see what doesn't. That's the beauty of this game. You can do whatever build you want, and the important thing is as long as you're having fun. Okay, especially if you have captains who just really have fun with you. And like I said, shout out to my captains here with me. That's the build. It's a really good ship. I highly recommend it. It has a good trait, good console, and a very good torpedo platform. So we're gonna call it there, captains.
Permission to disembark, sir.
Granted.